Hello, my fishing friends. Your favorite angling expert is here, and today we're reeling in a detailed forecast for a very special day, Monday, the 6th of October 2025, across beautiful Ireland. Get ready, because this day promises a unique blend of conditions, with a strong signal for higher pressure, mild temperatures, and importantly, a powerful full moon. We'll uncover why this particular day will be special for fishing, from weather quirks to lunar magic, and how it all affects our finned friends. Stick around, and I'll share some insider tips to help you land those dream catches. First up, let's dive into some tactics for the most active species we expect to see. This 6th of October looks promising for some key players, especially if you pick your spots wisely. For our toothy friends, the pike, autumn is prime time for them to be on the hunt. They're actively feeding to pack on weight before the colder months, so a bold offering can be irresistible. You'll want to target deeper sections of larger lakes like Lough Derg or Lough Mask, and even the slower stretches of the River Shannon. Look for them lurking around drop-offs along the edges of remaining weed beds or near any structures that provide ambush points. They'll be following baitfish as they gather. For tackle, go aggressive. Large lures are your best bet. Think big, soft plastics, deep-diving crankbaits, or even a classic dead bait presentation on a float rig. Next, let's talk about bass, our saltwater superstars. Early October can still offer fantastic bass fishing, particularly along the more rugged coastlines such as the Copper Coast or around areas in Cork, Waterford, Wexford, and Kerry. These strong fighters will be actively patrolling. Focus your efforts on deeper channels during low tide where the fish might be concentrated, and don't forget shallower rough ground where baitfish seek refuge. For shore anglers, fresh peeler crab or lugworm on a pulley rig is incredibly effective. If you're a lure angler, shallow diving crankbaits or surface poppers can still work in calmer periods, but soft plastic shads or needlefish imitations retrieved slowly along the bottom will likely produce more consistent results. Brown trout also remain active in early October and can be targeted successfully, especially in our rivers, which offer more natural shelter from the wind compared to wide-open loughs. Look for them in runs, riffles, and around any structure that breaks the current and offers cover, such as submerged logs or undercut banks. For tactics, light spinning gear with small spinners, or even dry flies and nymphs if conditions allow, can be deadly. Small worms or maggots on a float rod can also entice bites. And let's not forget our smaller but equally exciting perch and roach. As the salmonid season winds down, coarse fishing really comes into its own. Perch, in particular, will be schooling up in deeper areas of lakes and slower stretches of rivers. Look for them along features like underwater humps, submerged trees, or even around bridge pillars. For perch, light spinning gear with small, soft plastic grubs or micro-jigs can be deadly. Drop-shotting with tiny worms or maggots is another fantastic tactic. For roach, a float rod with a small waggler and maggot or corn will produce results. Now let's break down the conditions for Monday, the 6th of October, 2025. Regarding the weather, we're looking at a generally mild day. Air temperatures will range from around 11 to 18 degrees Celsius during the day, dropping to between 11 and 14 degrees Celsius overnight. There's a strong signal for higher than average pressure building to the southwest of Ireland, bringing drier than average conditions for the week, which is generally good news for fishing. Precipitation-wise, 0 millimeters are expected for the day in many areas, though the northern half of the country might see some cloudy spells with outbreaks of rain, becoming drier in the afternoon. The southern half will be largely dry with variable cloud and isolated showers. We'll have moderate to fresh southwesterly winds veering northwesterly later, so choosing sheltered spots will be key to comfortable fishing. Water temperature in the sea around Ireland in early October hovers around 13 to 14 degrees Celsius on average, with Dublin Bay expecting around 14.4 degrees Celsius on this specific day. Inland waters will be slightly cooler, but still within a range that keeps most species active. This cooling trend from summer to autumn is what often triggers the predatory feeding behavior, as fish sense the approaching colder months and start to feed aggressively to build reserves. It's a natural shift in their metabolism. And what about the moon, you ask? On Monday, the 6th of October 2025, we'll be under a powerful full moon. This full moon is known as the Hunter's Moon, and it's also a supermoon and the Harvest Moon, with an illumination of around 99 to 99.4%. Many anglers, myself included, believe a full moon, especially one that's a supermoon, can significantly stimulate fish activity. It's often associated with increased tidal movement in saltwater and a general boost in feeding behavior for many species due to increased ambient light at night. Overall fish activity in early October in Ireland sees a general shift towards autumn feeding patterns. Predatory fish like pike and bass are often in a feeding frenzy mode, trying to build up reserves for winter. Brown trout also remain active and can be targeted successfully. The salmon and sea trout seasons are winding down on many rivers by the end of September, but some specific rivers still permit sea trout fishing until October 12th, so always check your local regulations. Coarse fish like perch and roach are grouping up and becoming more active. So what's the overall fishing assessment for Monday, the 6th of October 2025? Friends, the combination of cooling water, the actively feeding autumn patterns of pike, bass and trout, and that promising full moon phase are strong positives. I'd give the overall fishing assessment as good to excellent, with huge potential for aggressive, predatory fishing. While the winds will require careful spot selection, the mild temperatures and lunar influence are major advantages. Expect active pike and determined bass, with brown trout and perch also offering good sport. The fish are out there, and they're hungry. All right, my fellow anglers, I wish you all tight lines and screaming reels. May you have a fantastic day out on the water. Don't forget to hit that like button if you found this helpful, subscribe for more expert tips, and ring that notification bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming fishing adventures. And tell me in the comments below, what are your go-to lures for pike and bass in autumn in Ireland? What's your favourite fishing spot this time of year? Share your tips and let's keep this awesome community growing. Tight lines, everyone.